Welcome to BK Academy of Chess. This lesson is on the King's Indian Defense, E63 E99 of the Encyclopedia of Chess Openings. This video is for you to absorb at your speed, so be prepared to pause, rewind, or slow down the video, or just sit back and watch the video to get some general ideas. You can also fast forward to the lines within the table of contents by clicking onto the link. Now let's get started. If you are playing with the black pieces and you need to win, the King's Indian Defense is for you. This aggressive defense is to 1d4 is as follows. Black responds with knight f6, and white usually replies with 2c4. To gain control of the center, black then plays 2g6, the West Indian defense, transposing into the King's Indian defense or Grunfeld defense. In playing the King's Indian defense with 2g6, black plans to follow up with bishop g7, d6, and castling. The beauty in playing the King's Indian defense is it can usually be set up against just about whatever line white's plays. In the King's Indian, black allows white to take control of the center with his pawns and then attacks the center with the moves e5 or c5. The classical variation follows the moves 3 knight c3 bishop g7, 4 e4 d6, 5 knight f3 castles, 6 bishop e2 e5. Grandmaster Eugene Perelstein has a 3-part video series in which he suggests playing 6 knight a6 as an alternative to 6 e5. The mainline or March del Plata variation continues with 7 castles knight c6, 8 d5 knight e7. Now white has a variety of moves, including 9b4, 9 knight e1, and 9 knight d2. Typically, white will try to attack on the queen side with c4 c5, while black will attack on the king side by knight to d7, f6 f5 f4, and g6 g5. Knight b d7 is the old main line, though less common nowadays than 7 knight c6. 7e times d4 8 knight times d4 is also possible, although white's extra space usually is of greater value than black's counterplay against white's center. 7 knight a6 has seen some popularity recently. Move the knight to c5 after an eventual d5, while guarding c7 if black should play queen to e8. Play commonly continues with 8 bishop e3 knight g4, 9 bishop g5 queen e8 exclam, but white has also tried 8d times e5 d times e5, 9 queen times d8 rook times d8 with even chances, 8 d5 knight c5, 9 queen c2 a fifth transpose into the Petrosian system. 8 bishop g5 h6, 9 bishop h4 queen e8, 10 bishop times f6 bishop times f6 and white does the strong 11 c5 exclam. 8 rook e8 is successfully played by the super grandmasters Magnus Carlsen and Anthony Karpov. See chess.com's article, King's Indian Defense by Grandmasters Majesh and Aaron. 7d5 is the Petrosian system. After 7, a5 white plays 8 bishop g5 to pin the knight, making it harder for black to achieve the f7 f5 break. Black would drive the bishop back with h6 and g5. Players switched to ideas involving knight a6, queen e8 and bishop d7, making white c4 c5 break more difficult. 7-bit The main idea behind this move is to avoid the theoretical lines that arise after 7 castles knight c6. This move allows white to maintain the tension in the center. If black plays mechanically with 7 knight c6, 8 d5 knight e7, 9 knight d2 exclam, is a favorable setup, so black most often responds by crossing his opponent's plans with 7 knight g4, 8 bishop g5 f6, 9 bishop h4 knight c6, but other moves are also seen, such as 7 knight a6, 8 castles transposing into the modern 7h6 is interesting, and the main line runs 8 castles knight g4, 9 bishop c1 knight c6, 10 d5 knight e7, 11 knight e1 f5, 12 bishop times g4 f times g4. This subvariation lacks the standard pawn breaks, so he will now play g6 g5 and knight g6 f4, often investing material in a piece attack in the f-file against the white king, while white plays for the usual queenside breakthrough with c4 c5. 7e times d4 immediately surrenders the center, with a view to playing a quick c7 c6, and d6 d5. In the exchange variation, 7d times e5 d times e5, a queen times d8 rook times d8, the line is often played by white players hoping for an early draw. White tries to exploit d6 with moves such as b4, c5, knight to f3, d2, c4, d6, while black will play to control the whole on d4. In practice, it is easier to exploit d4, and chances are balanced.